Have you ever wondered what makes Shakespeare's comedy so timeless and relatable? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
As You Like It is one of Shakespeare's most beloved comedies, and for a good reason. With its witty dialogue, lovable characters, and explorations of some of humanity's biggest questions, it's a play that continues to delight audience to this day. Speaking of delight, I made a special quiz for you so you'll have a chance to test yourself. And if you're ready, I am. So let's dive in, shall we?
The central conflict of the play revolves around the theme of love, with our protagonist Rosalind banished from court and forced to flee to the Forest of Arden, where she disguises herself as a man to escape the wrath of her evil uncle. Meanwhile, Orlando, the young man she loves, is also forced to flee to the forest, where he becomes embroiled in a complex web of relationships and identities. As the characters navigate the forest, they're forced to confront their own desires, identities, and sense of self. It's here that Shakespeare starts to explore some of the play's bigger themes, like the tension between court life and the natural world, and the ways in which love and identity can be both empowering and limiting. Through Rosalind's disguise as Ganymede, Shakespeare raises questions about the nature of gender and identity, and the ways in which our societal expectations can shape who we are. Despite the complex themes, the play is ultimately a comedy, and Shakespeare uses the forest setting to create a sense of freedom and liberation. As the characters shed their country roles and expectations, they're able to explore their true selves and find love in unexpected ways. Rosalind's journey is perhaps the most significant, as she navigates her own desires and sense of self through the relationship with Orlando, her cousin Celia, and the shepherdess Phoebe. Through her experiences, Shakespeare highlights the ways in which love can be both empowering and limiting, and the ways in which women, in particular, are forced to navigate societal expectations. In the forest, Rosalind finds a sense of agency and freedom that she never could in the court, and it's here that she is able to reveal her true identity and create a new kind of relationship with Orlando. It's a pivotal moment in the play, and one that changes the dynamics of the relationship among the characters. Rosalind's revelations marks a turning point in the play, after which the characters are forced to confront the reality of their relationship and identities. It's here that Shakespeare starts to tie up the loose ends, and the play builds towards its joyful conclusion. As You Like It is a play about the power of love and freedom to transform our lives through the exploration of identity, desire, and the contrast between court life and the natural world. Shakespeare creates a rich and nuanced comedy that continues to delight audiences today. Now let's learn who is who. Orlando. This young Englishman is noble and pure of heart. His constant concern and care for Adam, the old family servant, immediately makes the audience esteem him. When he learns that his brother Oliver is planning to kill him, he leaves home and goes to the Forest of Arden with old Adam. In the forest, he attaches love poems addressed to Rosalind on all the trees. Finally, he and Rosalind are united and wed. Oliver is supposed to teach his younger brother Orlando to be a gentleman, but he does not do so. He is a traitorous youth and tries to have Orlando killed. Orlando, however, saves him from being killed by a deadly snake and later from fierce lioness. And finally, the two brothers are reconciled. Oliver eventually falls in love with Celia. Jacques Du Bois, like Oliver and Orlando, he is one of the sons of the late Sir Roland Du Bois. He is favored by Oliver over Orlando, and he is sent away to school to learn how to be a proper gentleman. At the end of the play, he appears on stage and announces that the corrupt Duke Frederick has been converted to a life of goodness by an old hermit. Duke Frederick, the villain of this comedy, he banishes his elder brother, and eventually he also exiles his brother's daughter Rosalind from the palace. Just before the play ends, he is converted by a religious hermit, and henceforward he chooses to lead a monastic life in the Forest of Arden. Rosalind, she is the most realistic and sympathetic character in the play. She falls in love with Orlando and shortly thereafter is exiled from the ducal court by Frederick. She is accompanied by Celia and Touchstone. She goes to the Forest of Arden disguised as a young man. Enchantment. Orlando is unaware that she is in reality his beloved Rosalind. Celia is Rosalind's cousin and closest friend. When Rosalind is exiled by Celia's father, Celia accompanies Rosalind to the Forest of Arden. Since Celia isn't in love at the time, her practical answers to Rosalind's queries about love help to explore the depth of Rosalind's love for Orlando. Now, Celia goes to the forest disguised as Aliena. Eventually, she meets Orlando's brother, Oliver, and falls in love with him. Touchstone, the court clown, accompanies Rosalind and Celia to the Forest of Arden. There, he falls in love with Audrey, a country woman. Touchstone is one of Shakespeare's greatest fools, yet he is very realistic in his philosophy and he serves as a norm by which we can view the other characters. Jacques, the second Jacques in this play. He is a man of the world, a free spirit. In his travels, he has affected continental mannerism of speech and dress, and he believes that his ideas are terribly profound when actually they are very shallow. Now, Jacques is satirized by almost everyone with whom he holds deep discussions. Duke Senior. His ducal rights are usurped and he is banished to the Forest of Arden by his younger brother Frederick. Ultimately, his lands and his possessions are returned to him. Adam, he is the boys or family returner. He is dismissed by the nasty Oliver and later he relates to Orlando. Corinne, in contrast to Silvius, Corinne is a real shepherd. He is quite knowledgeable about sheep and their care. His lines serve as a contrast to the country wit of Touchstone. He also serves as a contrast to the pastoral lovers Silvius and Phoebe. Audrey. Now, this simple country woman, along with William and Corinne, serves as a contrast to the town character. She has trouble expressing her thoughts and cannot fathom the wit of Touchstone, but their love is so rapturous that eventually they are wed. Silvius, this shepherd represents the romantic lover in the pastoral genre of Elizabethan literature. He loves the shepherdess Phoebe, but she constantly rejects him. Despite this fact, however, he pines for her throughout the play and constantly threatens suicide if his love remains unrequited. Unlike Corinne, he knows absolutely nothing about sheep. Let's move on to Phoebe. Phoebe, as a pastoral girl who is the beloved of Silvius, she is a stock figure of this type of romance. That is, she rejects the advances of Silvius while he suffers from the woes of love's sickness. Surprisingly, she falls wildly in love with Ganymede, which is Rosalind in disguise. Yet finally she weds Silvius. William, he is a stock country character who serves as a contrast to the pastoral lovers Silvius and Phoebe, and also as a contrast to the town characters. Ammunius, a lord attending Duke Senior. He has a delightful role, and in this role he sings some of the most beautiful lyrics that Shakespeare ever wrote. Le Bois, he represents the man about town. He speaks well but knows little, and his speech, his dress, and his mannerisms are all satirized in the play. Charles, a professional wrestler whom Oliver tells to kill, or at least maim Orlando. Ironically, Orlando wins the match. Sir Oliver Martex. This vicar is not too knowledgeable. He almost joins Touchstone and Audrey in wedlock, but Touchstone is dissuaded at the last moment by Jacquemus. Haman, the god of marriage, appears in the final scene of the play to lead the mask and to give dignity to the subsequent marriage ceremony. And at last, we have Dennis, a servant to Oliver, the boys.
Okay guys, you have reached the part where you can test your knowledge, and let's see if you are ready for your next English literature exam. Let me know how it went. And that's it for today. Another look in Listen English Lessons literature video on Shakespeare's work as you like it, and I hope you liked it. Anyway, if you have favorite moments from this play, please share it in the comments below. And if you want to continue exploring his incredible, William Shakespeare's incredible work, you can check out on this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.